Hey guys, what's up? It's Kyle9965, making another video review. Well, not a video review, but a video of my some of my top 10 favorite wrestling matches of all time. This was kind of hard for me to do because, like I said, there have been so many great wrestling matches throughout the history of wrestling, from the 80s, 90s, the current, and even before the 80s, that have happened. So many great historical matches, and it's just really hard for me to pick out all these different matches, great matches that I thought were great in different periods of time in wrestling, and kind of compress them all into the top 10. So I've taken some wrestling matches from past and present, different wrestling organizations, and compressed them into my top 10. Like I said, these are just the top 10 list I have here is just a few of some of my favorite wrestling matches in history. Starting off with number 10, it's going to be Kurt Angle versus AJ Styles at the TNA Genesis pay-per-view last year, and on the January 4th edition of Impact, which was, you guys know, was the day that Hogan and Bischoff came into TNA. Been about a year and a half now since those guys have been there, and now we see what they've done with the company. But anyway, the match between Kurt Angle and AJ Styles for the world title on that special edition of Impact and on the pay-per-view Genesis was a great match. Kurt Angle, like I said, a great wrestler. It's considering his age past his prime, he can still put on quality matches. And AJ Styles, another great wrestler who one of the best great wrestlers I consider in this generation. These guys have had just fantastic matches on both occasions, on the Impact edition and on the Genesis pay-per-view. The Genesis pay-per-view had a bogus screwjob finish to it, but it's still just a great match going back and forth. Number 9 on my list is Randy Savage Macho Man versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 for the IC Intercontinental Championship. This was a great match. I consider this to be one of 5 of my favorite Randy Savage Macho Man matches. I like a lot of Randy Savage Macho Man's matches, but I think the one he had with Steamboat at WrestleMania 3 was one of his greatest, and it just really sticks out to me a lot. This was a great match between the two, and it was a match where it made you believe that the Intercontinental Championship had importance to it and it had meaning. Sadly, we don't get matches like that anymore. But this was one of those type of matches where they put on a great performance and they make you feel and believe that the Intercontinental Championship had meaning to it and had prestige and lineage. Number 8 on my list would be Kurt Angle versus Eddie Guerrero at WrestleMania 20 for the WWE title. This was a great match as well. Eddie Guerrero, a lot of cheating still, that's his way. One of my favorite Latino wrestlers. I've liked Eddie, better than Rey Mysterio. And Rey Mysterio is a good wrestler, but I think Eddie is way better. But still, this was a great match between the two. You would think Kurt Angle and Eddie Guerrero, in your mind, you would think that wouldn't be a good matchup. But when you see these two guys out in the ring, just magic. Great chemistry, back and forth technical wrestling from Eddie and Kurt Angle. Just a really good match. Number 7 on my list is Jerry Lynn versus Rob Van Dam at the ECW pay-per-view Hardcore Heaven in '99 for the ECW television title. This match was great. Rob Van Dam and Jerry Lynn have had tremendous matches against each other throughout the history of their career in ECW, but the one they had at Hardcore Heaven pay-per-view in '99 was just absolutely amazing. And for ECW to be considered and labeled as the extreme wrestling company, which they were extreme and they were hardcore, this match between Lynn and Rob Van Dam had a lot of great high-flying action and just great technical wrestling as well. They've thrown chairs and stuff at each other during that match here and there, but not so much. There was definitely a lot of reverses and technical matches and moves and maneuvers that were used on each other in this match. Rob Van Dam, longest ECW television champion in history, holding the belt for like 23 months. He really brought prestige to that title, and I thought having a guy like Jerry Lynn to meet and stop Rob Van Dam at every turn and every corner, just a great match between the two. One of my favorite rivalries. Number 6 on my list is CM Punk versus John Cena at the Money in the Bank pay-per-view this year. This was a great match as well. I'm not a fan of John Cena, don't really care for the guy, But I gotta admit, he put on a great performance along with Punk. He really did. Punk didn't go in that match, by himself. He didn't carry that match by himself. John Cena carried his weight as well. This was a great match, like I said. In the All-State Arena, the electricity, the build up for this match, the hype, the story that was at the centerpiece of this match. It was just great stuff, great match between the two, and the ending of that match was phenomenal as well, which you guys all know. Number 5 on my list is Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 and 26. Both of these matches that at WrestleMania that Undertaker and Shawn Michaels had against each other were great. 26 was extremely special because we all know that was Shawn Michaels' last match. This was a great match between the two. Like I said, 25 and 20. Some people thought that the 25 WrestleMania match between the two was better than 26. I think they were both pretty much even and matched up in my opinion. Like I said, this was just a great match, and considering both Undertaker and Shawn Michaels, both guys past their prime, put on a 5-star quality match back-to-back at a pay-per-view at WrestleMania. It's just phenomenal. Goes to show you where talent really is. Anytime you have two guys like HBK and Shawn Michaels, two legends, those guys are like in their 40s, they're in their 50s, and they can put on a 5-quality match. But the young guys in WWE now, who are in their late 20s, early 30s, they can't even put on a 3-star quality match. Goes to show you where the talent really is. Anyway, number 4 on my list is Chris Benoit versus Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship at Royal Rumble 2003. This was a great match. Again, Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit, in my opinion, the best technical wrestlers after Bret Hart. These guys have had tremendous matches on SmackDown and on other various pay-per-views in WrestleMania. But this match that they had at Royal Rumble 2003 stood out to me the most. It was back and forth, a lot of technical moves, submissions, just everything that you would expect from wrestlers like Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. So that's number 4 on my list. Number 3 will be Davey Richards versus Eddie Edwards for the ROH title at Best in the World pay-per-view, which was last month in June. This was a great match as well, and like the CM Punk John Cena match, the Davey Richards Eddie Edwards match had a build to it. It had a good story. For those of you who watch Ring of Honor and know of it, and knows these superstars, Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, they formed the All American Wolves tag team. They started off as good friends, but kind of split up and went their separate ways. This was Davey Richards' last shot at the world title. If he didn't win, then he would never get another shot at the world title again. Gladly, my guy Davey Richards won. This was just a great match, like I said. Had a great build to a great hype. And not just the build and the hype, but the actual quality of the match was great as well. Davey Richards, another guy who I consider one of the greatest wrestlers of today in this generation. Hell, I might even go front and see. I think he's better than AJ Styles. He's that darn good. People compare him as the next Chris Benoit. Number 2 on my list is Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock at WrestleMania 17 for the WWE title. This match was off the charts. Any match, with Austin and The Rock in it, going head-to-head, it's going to be electrifying. It's going to be a good match. It's going to be special because these guys are the two most iconic and charismatic characters, in my opinion, in the history of the WWE. And so for these guys to, lock it up at WrestleMania 17, which I also consider one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, just a great match between the two, back and forth. And this was also, the point where Austin turned heel and allied himself with Vince McMahon. But this was a great match, and in my opinion, I don't think we will ever see a match where you have two such iconic and electrifying characters and just have great chemistry together and pull off a great match. I don't think we will ever see that again. I hope I'm wrong. I would like to see another Rock, Steve Austin type of chemistry in the ring. But I just don't see it. In my opinion, Austin and Rock are by far, not in my opinion, the single best, greatest rivalry that WWE has ever had. Not even WWE, but in wrestling history, I think Austin and Rock is like the best rivalry. But Austin and Rock at WrestleMania 17 will be my second favorite match. Number 1 will be Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels for the WWE title match, WrestleMania 12. 1 hour Iron Man match. This was a great match as well. This was the longest wrestling match in history. At that time, being 1 hour. Although wrestling matches now aren't 1 hour, but they've been to other Iron Man matches throughout history that have lasted for an hour. But the one between HBK and Bret Hart, that was the first one. Great match. Shawn Michaels, who was very well known in the tag team division with Mark Jannetty, now bringing up to the singles career. Headlining WrestleMania against, like once I said again, the best technical wrestler of all time, Bret Hart. I was more of a Bret Hart fan than a Shawn Michaels fan, still am. But and I was upset that he had lost the title. But I mean, this was still just a really good match. This had great build up to it as well. Yes, I mean, and it was, it was Shawn's moment. It was his time, to lead the company. Although, when he got his big break, the company was failing. But that's another story. But still, this was number 1 on my list. So yeah, guys, this is my top 10 favorite wrestling matches. Not of all time, like I said, there's so many more. I just compressed some of my favorite top 10 wrestling matches in both past and present on this list. So this is just some of my favorite wrestling matches of all time. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment, subscribe. Doesn't matter if the comments are good or bad. Let me know what you guys think. And stay tuned, because I might make a video of who I think are the best wrestlers in this generation today. And I also might make a video of the best WWE champions in history, like I did with the world title later.